Thoughts on the chopping block. What killed Roadkill? All right, first things first, hats off to Freiburger and Finnegan for producing some of the greatest crazy television that has been around for a while. They rivaled the guys at Top Gear, in my opinion, for just the nuttiness with which they did things. They ran their own boat, and that was pretty cool. And in doing that, they impacted everybody from teenagers when they were doing YouTube all the way up to older adults when they were doing this stuff on MotorTrend TV. They truly brought a lot of people into the hobby that otherwise may not have been a part of it. And the passing of Roadkill and the MotorTrend TV studios is really a great loss to the automotive hobby, because they were some of the better champions out there, the more visible champions out there of what we do with our classic cars and any car in general. So hats off to you guys. I'd like for you to go out and check out David Freiberger's video that he did himself on his own channel. That video actually really goes into a lot of how he feels about the people he worked with. It's a really nicely done video. Take the 30 minutes to go watch it. You'll get a pretty good insight into what that was all about. The thing I'll tell you about that, though, is he does not say anything about why it happened. He may have a gag order on him from the company. Sometimes companies do that. Or it may just be that he really doesn't know. Whenever you're talking about a corporation as large as Warner Brothers and Discovery Plus, you're probably not going to know the basic down and dirty reason for why they did what they did. But what I'm going to read you right now is something that David Freiberger put out there for people that wanted to know what was going on. On November 18th, 2024, MotorTrend announced that my TV shows would no longer be produced. That means Roadkill, 13 seasons, and Roadkill Garage, 9 seasons. The spinoffs were also ceased, including Hot Rod Garage, Faster with Newbern Cotten, and Roadworthy Rescues. There are many episodes of those shows that have been produced but not aired or streamed. And MotorTrend tells me that all of these unseen episodes will continue to stream on Max and Discovery Plus, and will also air in 2025 on MotorTrend Cable TV. Some complete episodes can still be seen on the MotorTrend channel of YouTube. It's still out there. Some of the early Roadkill stuff that they did before they got picked up and carried along by the wave of corporateness are on the internet. Go check those out too. They're really some fun stuff. You're gonna get a good gut laugh out of a lot of it. According to reports by Hemmings, and I quote, "Roadkill isn't the first show that MotorTrend has canceled. Off-road enthusiasts were big sad when Dirt Every Day saw its last episode. Hot Rod Garage and Faster with Newbern and Cotten also came to an end, leaving car lovers with an end of an era feeling." Not the only ones that went away this year, by the way, and I'll talk about that at the end of this. So, general consensus. I don't know what the general consensus might be. There are going to be the tinfoil hat people out there that are going to tell you that it was probably a woke conspiracy where those folks just came in and they're trying to wreck everything automotive the way they have gone after the pew-pews on content creators. I don't know. I don't know what that answer is, but I will say that it's kind of like the Tyson-Paul fight. What was that? And that's kind of how I feel about this. What was that? What did they do? Why did they do that? But like most things, it probably really boiled down to money. And maybe just not knowing what to do with Finnegan and Freiberger's show, because the guys didn't have any kind of thing. They just did what they wanted to do. Whatever they thought about doing, they would do. Then they had a ton of cool cars that they built because, you know, Freiberger would say, hey, why don't we do this? So maybe it was that they didn't fit inside the box that most of these corporations try to fit shows into. Maybe the MotorTrend stuff just didn't work in there, because if you look at Discovery Channel's list of shows, they do have some automotive content, and about 95% of it is reality TV drag racing. Seriously, go look. I mean, they have things like HGTV, which has some small amount of how-to it, where they're going in and they're, you know, they're a knitting professor at a college and a guy who collects snails, and they're building $1 million home in, you know, Washington State. They have a full channel devoted to a lot of that same kind of content. All of the stuff that they run is fairly formulaic. Or was it really Was it really the woke agenda that everybody seems to be talking about? It's almost like the they that we always use. They did this and they did that. Honestly, I don't know about that. My real, true gut in all this is actually that it's really all about the money. You can say whatever you want. It's really all about the money. And Warner's been having some problems with money here lately. Money! That is what drives the bus. And I'm going to tell you right now, Warner Discovery has been running on flat tires for a hot minute. They are reporting in Q4 of 2024, when I'm airing this, a loss of $10 billion. Yes, that's what I said, $10 billion. So they're reporting that kind of loss. And in a case like that, something has to go, and MotorTrend TV and that whole crew set, because you can drop a ton of money by dropping all of those salaries at a wholesale rate, that was where they cut the money. They cut the money there and in some other places too. Let me give you an example of what Warner Brothers Discovery did. They have a completed Batgirl movie in the queue. It's all done, finished, filmed, ready to send. And they're probably not going to release it because they'll tend to make more money from the tax write-off than sending the film out for people to watch. If there was ever a single sentence that typifies the idea of it's all about the money, that would be one. There's probably others, but that would be one. It really is all about the money. So I don't think it's anything to do with a woke agenda. I don't think it's anything to do with other than the fact that Warner Brothers Discovery is bleeding to death, and now what they're trying to do is cut their losses. They lost their contract with the NBA. That's a big chunk of money that fell down through the toilet. So yeah, $10 billion in debt, you're going to start cutting things. And unfortunately, when you have something like MotorTrend TV and Roadkill, which didn't really sink in with a lot of what Discovery does, it's an easy place to go. You know, you're cutting out a whole swath of people, and it is very sad. Because it was one of the last bastions of, automotive television out there. You had Roadkill that was really fairly big on television, and then you had the guys from the Grand Tour, aka formerly from Top Gear, Clarkson, May, and Hammond. They're gone too this year, by the way. They've left. I don't know if they left because of financial situations with Amazon or if they've left because the three lads are just tired of doing the show. But I digress because this is really more about Roadkill, right? So the last bastion for those guys is YouTube, a place that allows you to do pretty much whatever you want with the exception of, that stuff. You can't do that. I mean, you can, but you're going to pay for it. But what Finnegan and Freiburger do is not going to fly in the face of anything that YouTube has out there. So they could do something like Roadkill, similar to what the guys from Top Gear did after they were jettisoned from the BBC. They went to Amazon and worked a deal over there. But I think probably the best play for Freiburger and Finnegan would be to do something on YouTube with sponsorship from major sponsors. They have the geetus to go out there and grab up sponsorships from folks. They can walk away doing pretty darn well for themselves because both of them have pretty successful channels. Finnegan's channel is at 949 plus subscribers, 1,000, not 100, that's 1,000, and he's growing, and he's going to really grow now because of what happened with Roadkill. Freiburger has been less active on YouTube than Finnegan was. Finnegan has had Finnegan's Garage for a pretty good while and was filming that in between doing Roadkill stuff. So he had that already running and he was making that thing fly. Then you have Freiburger, who still, with not doing a ton on YouTube, has 243,000 subscribers. And by the way, when I was looking at this stuff yesterday, it was 242,000. Now he's at 243. So there are people flocking to Freiburger and Finnegan from the backlash off of what's going to happen and what is happening to MotorTrend TV. So they have an exceptionally solid base to build from, and I think that they're going to probably be okay. There's not going to really be a problem for them. The bigger issue is possibly for the folks that work in the film industry. But I mean, they're used to this. This is not unnormal for film folks. They are very much a gypsy bunch. They'll move from place to place, you know, show to show, and they'll hopefully, if they've done well for themselves, land on their feet wherever they are at. Finally, I do wish the folks from Roadkill and MotorTrend TV and all success. I want them to succeed. I want Finnegan to succeed, and I want Freiburger to succeed. I want the crews that were surrounding them to succeed. Steve Dulcich, all the guys that were involved in these shows. I don't know some of them personally. I don't really know Freiburger personally, but I have met Freiburger several times when I worked for Prime Media and Dobbs Publishing when it was taken over by Peterson. So I know these people and I know who they are, and they have a really rich history in the automotive market. So I wish you guys well. I hope everything runs along well for you and that you get what you need out of this world. You know, go out and get some of that money that the corporation's not giving you anymore. Because, you know, I'd rather see it going directly into your pocket than into their pocket. Because sometimes I don't think those people at Discovery and Warner know what the heck they're doing. Any of them, Disney, whatever, you know, because agendas. Some of them do have agendas, by the way. I'm not going to put on my tinfoil hat now. I'm not. Do me a favor, folks. Be kind to each other, love on each other, treat each other nice. You guys have a great week. We'll see you later. I almost said the thing I do for Autorestomod or Manic Mechanic. I got to come up with something for this. See you on the rumble down the road. Maybe I'll just say bye. Bye.